So, the way I see it, you guys have only left me with two choices. The first being, I put in my review, give my opinion of this game. I say it's phenomenal. 10 out of 10, best game this gen, best game ever. But I'd be lying to you if I said that, if I said this game was perfect. The second and latter option being, I put up my review, give my opinion, and I say the game is not as amazing as people make it out to be, and then I get called a Nintendo cocksucker, yada yada, and I'm jealous of an exclusive that I own on a system that I own. Makes sense, right? But for those of you who got butthurt over a parody, over that parody video, don't watch this video. Because if you couldn't even handle that, a minute of parody, you won't be able to handle a single criticism I throw at this game in this review. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, I got people in the comment section of that video giving me death threats, telling me things like I should kill myself and things of that nature over a game, over a parody of a game. Now, yes, I was making a point with that parody, you know, that the game has some repetitions when it comes to the level progression. But if you're going to make a joke has to make sense. You see what I'm saying? Or else it won't be funny. It won't be funny if it doesn't make sense. So of course I was going to make the video based off of a real thing that is within the game. You see what I'm saying? So it had to be stemmed off of something that actually exists in the game for you guys to understand it and get it, and for it to actually make sense. But let's get into the review. I'm going to come straight out with it because I know you guys want me to get straight to the point. What do I think about it in general? Period. It's overrated. It's an overrated game. Now, it's not Skyrim overrated, okay? It's not Fallout series overrated. It's not GTA 4 overrated, but it's overrated. It's moderately overrated. Now, I know a lot of you guys are coming to my house right now to kill me because I have a differing opinion about a video game you like. You know, calm down, because as I've said before, it's a great game. This is a great game, one of the best games you could purchase on the PS3. It's just not this 10 out of 10 phenomenal, amazing, perfect game that everybody's making it out to be. Now, I don't care about backlash, right? I told you guys I was going to give my 100% unbiased, down-to-earth, real review. This is the realest review of this game you will see. And I have the audacity to say this. And that's that a lot of people are scared to say this game is anything short of phenomenal. Scared. I can tell. After playing this game, I could tell. People are scared of the backlash. The reviewers were scared. A lot of the reviewers that gave it a 10 out of 10, you could tell that they didn't want to give it anything less than a 10 out of 10 or a 9.5. You see what I'm saying? And then all these gamers running around, you could tell a lot of them are scared to say otherwise. They are scared to say something that is opposed to the pretty much popular majority opinion. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who thinks this game is a 10 out of 10 phenomenal best game this gen, I'm not saying you're a fanboy, a Sony fanboy or anything like that, see what I'm saying? Because I know a couple of people here on YouTube that I'm cool with that aren't Sony drones at all, not even in the slightest, and they say that this is like the best game this gen or the best game on the PS3, such as, you know, Steals Forever and Breezy, you know, and those two ain't Sony drones, hell no. And they still think the game is phenomenal. So I'm not saying it's everybody. But a lot of these sites have said this game is perfect because they're under pressure, simply because the Naughty Dog name is on it. And then a lot of these fanboys, same thing, giving it a 10 out of 10 just because the name Naughty Dog is on it. Now, before I get into the negatives and explaining to you guys factual reasons, there will be some opinion in this review but there's also going to be factual flaws that cannot be disputed that I will bring up later in this video. But to talk about the things that I absolutely love about the game. Firstly, the character models. The character models are awesome. The animation is fluid. The way they move, you know, and their facial animations in combination with just how great the voice acting is, which I'm gonna talk about in a second, it just makes everything look so convincing. It makes it look so genuine. You see what I'm saying? Simply amazing, and it really sucks you, you know, into the cutscenes when you have these characters, you know, acting and sounding so realistically. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely amazing. Now the reason why I say character models is because when you go outside, you're in the actual city environment or whatever, the game doesn't really look as good as people make it out to be. So the overall graphics of the game are also overrated as well. A lot of people say this game looks so good, you know, it could pass for a PS4 game. No. I don't see how you could see Killzone Shadowfall and say that. You see what I'm saying? Because that mops the floor with The Last of Us or any other last-gen game. You see what I'm saying? And in my opinion, and I'm not speaking nostalgically here, but Uncharted 2 and 3, their environments look better than The Last of Us to me. It really does. And again, the reason why I said I'm not speaking nostalgically is because I will still actually pop in Uncharted 2 and play it till this day. You see what I'm saying? So I still have, you know, a fresh, recent opinion on the game's graphics. And to me, I don't know if it's because of the different art style, you know, that Uncharted went for, but Uncharted outside environments look better to me than The Last of Us. Now, when you're inside a building, yeah, the graphics look pretty damn awesome because they have less they don't have to stretch their resources as much if it's rendering is the inside of a building. See what I'm saying? But when it comes to being in the outside environment, which is most of the time, there's a lot of low-res textures. You know, the grass looks pretty, you know, pretty crummy considering it's Naughty Dog, you know, things of that nature. But, you know, it's not a deal breaker. It's nothing that will make you cringe or anything like that. The game still looks good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's not this PS4 quality that everybody's talking about. Going to the voice acting, this is the best voice acting I have ever heard in a video game, period. I'm serious. That is no exaggeration. That's not to damage control the fact that I'm saying this game is overrated. This is really like the best voice acting I've ever heard. I haven't seen such convincing performances from voice actors before in a video game. See what I'm saying? And like I was saying with it being in combination with the way the characters move and everything, it just makes it so convincing and it really sucks you in. The story, freaking awesome. Naughty Dog could take the cutscenes of this game, stitch them together, send it to the box offices, and that mess would sell. You see what I'm saying? That mess would make them money. See what I mean? Because the story in this game is awesome. The cutscenes, nothing short of amazing in this game. The crafting system, love it. I would love to see that implemented into more survival horrors or survival games in general. I love the way you have to like collect materials and you can make, you know, certain bombs with certain materials and upgrade your melee weapons and things of that nature. I love that. Now that I've said all that, what do all those things have in common, people? None of those things outside of the crafting system, but the voice acting, you know, the graphics, whatever, the character models, the way they move and everything, the story, all that is great and dandy, but what do they all have in common? They really don't have much to do with the gameplay. And that is pretty much what keeps this game from being phenomenal. Now this right here, this part is opinionated. I'll tell you which parts are factual, but this is pretty opinionated right here, but it uses a lot of old, archaic, third-person, you know, mechanics that we've seen in games since the beginning of this generation. For instance, crouch, go behind somebody, press triangle, you know, to assassinate them. You know, we've seen that before. The button mashing for quick time events. Now, I don't mind quick time events if they're not the mashing ones. Like for instance, in God of War, if you're finishing off a boss, You know, triangle to rip it, to slice his head off, and then square to slice his arms off. I don't know why you would slice off somebody's arms after chopping off their heads, but it's God of War. You know, Kratos does shit like that. But you guys see what I'm saying? I don't mind quick time like that. But this whole, oh, this guy's trying to drown you, you know, mash square to save dear life, that's not entertaining, okay? And that mechanic stopped being cool like after God of War 1. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just not fun. This button mashing of square to save your life, it gets real old in this game. It gets really repetitive, and it's like I said, it's just a very old and ancient game mechanic that I would like to see completely removed from games, like completely. A lot of the time, you know, and I understand this is a heavily stealth-oriented game, but a lot of the time there'll be like a long stretch of level that you need to get through, and pretty much you don't use your standing run animation in this game. The whole time in this game, you are crouching, which is like one of the points I made in that parody video, right? You're crouching the whole time, and again, I understand that it is a stealth-oriented game, and you would want to crouch because you don't want enemies to see you. It's best to avoid enemies, but sometimes, you know, it just takes so long, you know, to get to the end of that particular map, but that particular section, because you gotta crawl, you know, at 2 miles per hour, and it gets really tedious after a while, and you're just like, oh man, I'm just ready for this to be over with. I'm ready to get to the next cutscene. You see what I'm saying? So those are pretty much my opinionated things regarding the gameplay and things of that nature. Now to the factual things that cannot be denied. And the biggest problem with this game, the AI. The AI. Now even the sites that have given this game 9.5s and 10 out of 10s have talked about the AI. So don't tell me I'm bullshitting. This is factual. This is undeniable. The AI in this game is terrible. Not even talking about Ellie's AI yet. When you're Joel, you're the player, you could walk straight in front of a dude, and as long as you get back behind cover within 3 seconds, that AI is going to forget what he saw, and he's going to keep walking around like nothing happened. You see what I'm saying? Silly. I remember one time, and if I'm not lazy, I'll actually get a clip of this that that actually happened on my live stream. But I was going through a truck near the end of the game. We're in the snow area and you're playing as Joel trying to get to Ellie, right? I was going through that truck, right? And there's this dude like climbing up in the truck, and he was walking through the truck. I climbed up there without seeing him, and we're on a level ground, right? In the same truck, no objects between us. And he was like, whoa, who is that? I was standing right in front of the dude, and I paused for a moment because I was like, crap, he saw me. But then I just backed out the truck and went over to the side, right? And the dude just walked out casually like he didn't see anything. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of these dudes talk about how immersive this game is. How is this game immersive when the AI is so unrealistic and silly? You see what I'm saying? And a lot of the time, you can actually assassinate, you can take people out coming from a diagonal angle. You see what I'm saying? You don't need to be directly behind a person, and you don't even need to be at the side of the person. See, at the side. You don't even need to be at a 90-degree angle. As long as you're not directly in front of that person, you could come diagonally and press triangle to take them out. The AI in this game is absolutely oblivious and laughable. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then again, that's just speaking about the enemy's AI's interaction with Joel. Ellie, we all know the deal with Ellie's AI. She's running around all over the place, right in front of enemies, and they don't respond to her, you know, like she's a resident of the place. You know, Ellie's running around like, you know, people be like, oh, hey, what's up, Ellie? Beautiful day, isn't it? You know, she just running around the place like she lives there, right? And now, don't get me wrong. I understand Naughty Dog did this on purpose. I understand they did this so Ellie's AI doesn't, you know, trigger them finding you. You see what I'm saying? I understand that, and you guys are completely right, and I'm glad Naughty Dog made that decision, because I'd be pissed if I was completely behind cover and I wasn't being seen, but then Ellie sets off the AI. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, thinking back to the Uncharted games, I don't remember seeing Sully or Elena in plain view. You see what I'm saying? Walk around giving high fives to the enemies. You see what I'm saying? Sully stayed his ass behind cover. He stayed stationary. You see what I'm saying? the AI in the Uncharted games didn't go around the place like they lived there. You see what I'm saying? So why couldn't they do the same for Ellie? And that leads to my whole point regarding this AI. The AI could have used a lot more polish. Period. And again, this game is supposed to be so immersive, right? It's so, you know, survival oriented. It's so, you know, it really makes you feel that struggle factor. But how are you going to immerse us, Naughty Dog, if we're too busy laughing at the AI? You see what I'm saying? During the gameplay segments, I wasn't really immersed because I was too busy laughing at the game. You know, laughing at how Ellie was going around giving high fives to all the enemies. You see what I'm saying? I was too busy laughing at how I would like pop out, stare at an AI, and then continue running, and they act like I didn't see anybody, I didn't see anybody, I didn't see anybody. You know, like they're reassuring themselves that, you know, they didn't just see this dude running around the complex. You see what I'm saying? I was too busy laughing to be immersed into the game, you know, gameplay wise. You see what I'm saying? This is also factual. The aiming is bad. That is factual. Again, the reviewers have said it themselves. And another thing to back up what I'm saying is Naughty Dog actually has it to where you can upgrade to reduce your weapon sway. You see what I'm saying? So again, I understand that Naughty Dog did it on purpose. They made the aiming bad on purpose, right? And I understand you can upgrade it. But the thing is, there's so many other things you can upgrade that you may not want to upgrade the weapon sway into, right? It takes a long time to get those points too, by the way, so you can't even upgrade everything you want. But two, right, this is a survival game. Very, very survival oriented, right? Naughty Dog will hand you a gun with 4 shots in it. Why would you intentionally make bad aiming when we have such limited ammo? You see what I'm saying? That is factual. That cannot be denied. The aiming in the single player is bad. They make it a little better in the multiplayer, but it's purposely made. And again, understand, it's made like that. It's made difficult on purpose. But when we have such limited ammo, you don't need to be doing things like that, Naughty Dog. You see what I'm saying? You should have just given us normal aiming. And it's especially hard, you know, with these, you know, clickers moving their heads, you know, all the time. You can't even, you know, get a headshot, stuff like that. The aiming in this game is off, and I think it was a bad decision on their part to make it intentionally, you know, difficult. Intentionally something you'd either have to adjust to by the end of the game, or something you'd have to upgrade, and you won't be able to upgrade other things you would want, such as your health and things of that nature. See what I'm saying? The third flaw about this game, my parody video, the repetition. Now, repetition isn't always a bad thing. You know, there are some games that have great repetition, such as a lot of RPGs, you know, Monster Hunter, you know, games like that. There's nothing wrong with repetition as long as it's executed well. But firstly, when you're a AAA top-notch developer like Naughty Dog, and your level progression is the same throughout the whole entire game, that is a fail, Naughty Dog. The whole level progression and the way these levels are set up is so subpar. I'm sorry. It is outside of the you know, spore areas, you know, the clicker areas, which I'll get into later. You know, the level progression is so boring. Between gunfights, between combat, it's so boring. The whole game is ladder, plank, raft, 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 until the end of the game. You see what I'm saying? And that was pretty much what I was, you know, that was what my parody video, you know, was based off of. That was no exaggeration. That was no joke. That was no joke at all. The whole game, if there's a high up place, you have to get a ladder. There's no deviation, no variety, right? If there's a body of water, guess what? There will be a raft somewhere. Because Ellie can't swim, you have to get Ellie on the raft, right? If you're on rooftops, you need to get to a different roof. Guess what? There will be a plank there. You see what I'm saying? And that's it. There's no variety. There's no deviation. They don't do anything new with the level progression. It is those 3 things throughout the whole game. And at first, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. No, but the time you're 50% in the game, it's like, you know, come on, this is monotonous. It seems lazy. It's silly. You know, it's silly how all these things are just constantly, conveniently just laying around, you know, stuff like that. It's silly. It's tedious. Very, very tedious. Very, very monotonous. Also, while we're on the topic of level design, the game is extremely linear. There's really not any branching off you can do. And just like repetition, linear isn't automatically a bad thing. Like I keep going to the Uncharted games because it's the most accurate, fair comparison you can make, you know. They're PS3 games from the same developer, you know. But going to the Uncharted games, those games were linear as hell, but they were great because they were linear done right, and you were so entertained throughout the whole ride, and the puzzles were awesome, you know, stuff like that, that you didn't care that it was linear. You see what I'm saying? But when you're in a city landscape, you see what I'm saying? You would think they would let you, you know, kind of branch off just a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Just a little bit. And again, like I said, when the level design is just ladder, plank, raft the whole time, they should have added like alternate paths or something like that that offer different ways of progressing through the levels. That is also factual. So I've listed 3 factual flaws, which are pretty big. They're not small either. See what I'm saying? You can't deny the bad AI, right? You can't deny the weapon sway, because Naughty Dog said themselves that the weapon sway was like that. And like I said, they have the option to reduce the weapon sway for a reason, because they did it on purpose. They implemented it on purpose, right? So bad AI, the freaking weapon sway, and then the repetitive level progression. Those are 3 factual things that cannot be denied. So how is this game a 10 out of 10 if those things persist? That's all I'm saying. Moving on to the multiplayer. The multiplayer is great, and honestly I had more fun with the multiplayer than I did with the single player, which shouldn't be, especially for a Naughty Dog game. You see what I'm saying? But the multiplayer is great. This is like, it's one of the most fun multiplayer games I have experienced this gen, and I am glad to report that this online is completely and utterly balanced. It is balanced. If any of you guys have been longtime subscribers to me, you guys would know that a lot of the times I hate these online shooters or any games that have, you know, shooter mechanics online, because there'll be, you know, guns that are overpowered or perks that are obviously unfair, you know, things of that nature. This game has none of that. Okay, for some reason my camera just cut off on me. Where was I? I was talking about the multiplayer, right? Yeah, multiplayer is completely balanced. It just needs some ironing out. For instance, you know, like I said, sometimes it takes a different amount of shots to put people down. Both, you know, not using no armor. You know, for some reason it'll take that guy 5 shots. For some reason it'll take that guy 3 shots. You know, and then sometimes you throw a Molotov straight on a dude, and he'll just walk on it, walk through it, like he's some reverse Jesus, you know, or something like that. But the multiplayer gets 2 thumbs ups for me. It just, needs to be ironed out a little bit. Those things could be fixed in patches and whatnot. Going back to the single player, also forgot to mention, like, sometimes when you go up against a certain object or you go to a certain spot on the map, sometimes you'll get stuck, right? For instance, one time I was in a building, right, and I went up to a locker to like look for supplies or whatever, right? And then Joe got stuck, and then he started like spazzing out, you know, like this. You know, all of a sudden I was stuck like that for like another 15 seconds, and it was just really weird. Other times I've seen Ellie just start like floating in midair, like she's just ascending to the heavens, or like she's been possessed by the Holy Ghost or something. You know, and then sometimes when you kill an enemy like on the stairs or any other surface that isn't completely flat, like their dead bodies will like start floating up into the sky too, you know, and whatnot. So basically, this game could use a lot more polish. You know, it seems like this game could use at least 4 more months of development cycle to fix the AI, you know, and things of that nature, and to fix these random, you know, bugs such as getting stuck. And getting stuck also happens in the multiplayer as well. This happened quite a few times with the friends I play with. But like I said, I've listed 3 completely factual things. Those things being the AI, the weapon sway, and the repetition of the, you know, level progression, right? Factual things that can't be denied. So knowing those things are factual and can't be denied, how can you say this game is a 10 out of 10? But to end this review, like I said, great game. Great game. Great game. I have to keep repeating myself because I know I'm talking to some Sony drones here who are just going to focus on the negative things I said, you know, right? And pretty much say, oh, and you know, he's saying the game is bad. No, great game, just overrated. And again, like I said, not Skyrim overrated or nothing like that, but it's overrated. Great, but not phenomenal. You know, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much The Last of Us in a nutshell. I told you guys I was going to tell it like it is. Unbiased, down-to-earth review of this game. Now, is this one of the best games on the PS3? Hell yeah. Is this game worth $60? Hell yeah. I'd spend $70, you know, for this game. You see what I'm saying? But is it touching my shit? Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots? No. This still remains the best game on the PS3, hands down. Hands down. This was every other company's last attempt to top it. Didn't happen. This game still remains the best game on the PS3 and one of the best games this generation. Hands down. So that pretty much concludes my review. Let me make sure my camera's not crapping out on me. Okay, it's not. That pretty much concludes this review, y'all. Thanks for watching. You know, I already know there's going to be butthurt despite the fact that I said it's a great game. It's definitely with the buy. It's one of the best games on the PS3. It's just not this 10 out of 10 perfect game that everybody's making it out to be. You see what I'm saying? It's not. And to give this game a score, I'm not going to give it a score. Why? Because I don't want you guys focusing on a number right here. I don't want you focusing on a number. I want you to focus on the words that came out of my mouth in this video. I want you to focus on the points that I made in this video. You see what I'm saying? That's what I want you to do. So I'm not giving this game a score. My score is overrated, but still great. That is my score. Take that for what you think it is. But that's for this video. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see you fools later. Peace.